Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. Welcome to Bud Mouse. This is Joe, the bearded historian. He'll tell you an interesting history. Be careful of his soldiers, they can be brats. This is Angel, she's an entity. She'll cause chaos and plant her hands at you. This is Sue, she likes spirits, not the alcohol. She's the reason this channel exists. This is David, he likes fire trucks. He's here occasionally. Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. We preserve his story.
That way, this way. Okay. This is the Vore Buffalo Jump. It's a place that the Native Americans used to use. There's a story over here. For those of you who like that kind of thing, I'd have Mr. Joseph read it, but he ran away. So you're going to have to pause it and read it yourself. All right. Welcome to our, well, it's Monday. But welcome to Angel's a week before his birthday, which is on Sunday. She hasn't decided if she's going to share that or not, but we'll let you know. We're doing a movie for her birthday. She's actually had a birthday movie the last 3 years, and I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but I am. Go there. We have a race today. I've chosen a dog sled race today. Ready? Here we go. Shout out time. Here's a shout out just for you. You support me, so I support you. This shout out is for our friend. Let's see who it is today. And then the start. Maybe. Start. There we go. Okay. Let's see. I see she stole, and there's cruising, and old fart, and Gen X, and Monica, and cemeteries, and Turtle, and Misha, and Sarah, and there's Mountain Man, there's Monica. Let's see, who else can we see? There's Popcorn, and Alice, and Neil, and Pete, and Wit. Martin is there. Paprosis is there. There's Kim Spack. Let's see, who else we got? There's Intrepid. There's Makeup. There's Jackie. There's Lynn. Oh, somebody crossed the line. Oh, it was Intrepid. Hang on. Okay, so welcome to our thrilling channel where adventure knows no bounds. Join us as we embark on an exhilarating journey through forgotten realms, capturing the essence of history, beauty, and the unknown. And they do a lot of different stuff. So here's an abandoned rocket town, which is interesting. We got cemeteries and abandoned places. So they do all kinds of fun stuff. And there's a doggo who looks very sad. Check them out. Like, share, comment. Have a good day. Okay. Just no guide? Oh, it did close. I was half right. Interesting that they leave it open. Me too. Although I suppose there's not a lot that you could steal from here. Huh? Sorry, I can't hear you over the traffic.
I said there's a couple placards to read.
And
then we saw the exhibit.
That's a good door.
start with this one over here.
Do you see the door?
Yeah.
It's barred.
Yep. Wow.
Why is there a building down there?
That's probably where they're excavating the jump site at the bottom.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
So, preparing for impending blizzards, Plain Indians required large quantities of meats and hides for food, shelter, clothing, and other needs. Harvesting as many buffalo as needed by hunting on foot in the severe winter weather would have been nearly impossible. Therefore, Northern Plains Indians conducted communal hunts in autumn to procure meat and hides they needed before the onset of the harshest weather. For 300 years, various Plains Indians tribes repeatedly did this using this natural sinkhole to trap and kill buffalo. Excavation suggests that 10,000 or more buffaloes were killed here in 20 to 30 hunts, and that 5 or more tribes used the site during the period. These communal hunts were likely require the concerted efforts of several hundred people involving 3 stages: gathering and driving the herd to the kill site, skinning and butchering, which occurred in the sinkhole, and processing the meat and hides in a nearby camp. Most of this activity was done on foot, using dogs as beasts of burden. Horses were not acquired by the Indians in the region until the late 1700s.
Fun.
So basically, like, you figure that all this out here had herds of buffalo and bison. You know, you've got the flatlands over there, and then the Indians would kind of do a concerted effort to push, moving them closer and closer until they would start falling into this sinkhole where killing them would be a lot easier than trying to, well, have 6 or 7 guys on horseback try to take down a single buffalo.
I'm guessing they tried to do it from the steep sides and then went down on the less steep side.
Yeah. And kind of, you know, well, military tactics 101 is that they would try to push them and block off any escape routes and move the majority of them into the hole. And once they started tumbling in, one on top of another, you know, obviously the weight and the effort would be what would kill them off. They'd be finished off with spears, other forms of weaponry. But for the most part, I mean, these guys were doing it on foot until the 1700s when horseback finally showed up. The Lakota, for example, they didn't have horses until they made trades with them with the Cheyenne. Of course, they also didn't cross the Missouri River until, you know, late 1700s. But on to the next plaque they've got over there. They actually have several plaques.
I'm guessing you can't go into the tea because the back door is barred?
That's what I'm thinking. Exactly.
Okay. Well, I couldn't tell from the front.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing since you can't get out, you can't get in.
Right.
Although I think we should try the front door anyway. What?
Sounds good to me.
Don't laugh at me. Shouldn't this be facing the other way?
You would think so. Ideal hunting ground. Look around you. The valley was an excellent habitat for buffalo. Herd gathering area was the open grassland north, west, and then southwest of the sinkhole. Natural drainages supplemented the man-made structures, providing drive lines. The sinkhole was an excellent pit trap. Less than a mile south, that direction, the Black Hills provided the water, wood, and other resources the Indians required. The large processing camp had to be out of sight and preferably downwind of the sinkhole. No wonder Indians were attracted to this location. The landscape provided the essentials for a successful communal hunt.
Okay, I know it's a little bit different now, but that's a long ways to wood.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might be lazy because I'm not walking all that way for wood and then bringing it back here.
No. Rock Cairns processing camp. This is where the South Dakota border line is. And I don't think the Black Hills are all that far away, but they said possible drive around here, drive out here. And then they processed the meat right down there. And the bison were busy gathering down that way.
Cool.
So the idea is that if they could push them this way, down that way, that's why they have the 2 routes.
Right.
And then they'd aim them for that jump. Makes sense.
Okay, I have to ask, what the hell is that for?
I'm not sure.
Cool.
There's a big sand hill thing in the middle. Maybe they have kids dig for artifacts or something.
Maybe, but I still don't know what you need the enclosure
For, I don't know, keep the rain out maybe? Oh, look, yucca.
But the sand's not in there.
Yucca plant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Unbloomed, I'm guessing.
Oh, here's another sign. Understanding bison behavior brought success, but buffalo are fast, strong, and often unpredictable animals, but Indians understood this behavior and used the knowledge effectively. For example, the Indians knew that manipulating herds of buffalo was easier than controlling individual animals. Like I said, five guys on a horseback against a single buffalo is not that smart. If you can get the whole herd moving, things are better. In late autumn, when most of the hunts occurred, bison were usually dispersed in smaller groups of cows and calves. After much planning and ceremony, scouts were sent out to gather these smaller groups into a critical mass, 200 to 500 buffalo, to position within a few miles of the sinkhole. When they sensed a threat, the bison naturally tended to seek the apparent safety of a larger group. Scouts used various techniques to gently harass the small groups into a large herd without causing them to scatter, turn on the antagonist and stampede prematurely, or leave the area. Tribes are known to use various kinds of decoys, such as a man covered in a buffalo hide to position himself near
He
the
looks
herd.
just silly.
Yeah. And pretend to be a calf in distress. Dominant cows would investigate and the buffalo would follow. The decoy would move closer to the trap and the buffalo would follow.
I still think he looks silly.
Yeah. I'm surprised the buffalo fell for that.
Especially since he doesn't look that much like a calf. At least not in that picture.
Either that or they had really bad eyesight.
Maybe. I'm going down, going down, going down.
You can only imagine the sound of those things coming. 200 to 500 herd of buffalo coming through here. That'd be a loud roar.
That's a big hole over there.
Yeah.
No, over there.
That's a drainage pipe, it looks like.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All I saw was dark, so.
Trapping the buffalo. Indian used the combination of drive lines, controlled harassment, and decoys to move the herd towards the intended trap. Here at the Vore site, drainages were probably used to keep the herd together and headed in the desired location. In addition, the rows of stone cairns in nearby pastures indicate the Indians used man-made structures to supplement natural containment features. To avoid having the herd scatter and avoiding the trap, the Indians tried to move the buffalo close to the sinkhole before causing them to stampede. In the final moments, the hunters wanted the buffalo to panic, lower their heads, kick up dust, and think the danger was behind them. In fact, the real danger was the sinkhole immediately ahead. Despite desperate to get away, most of the animals never saw the trap until they plunged over the edge. Over the centuries, the tribes possibly used several different drive lines. However, the primary drive line at the Vore site was probably from the west, right over that cliff.
Seems like it would be that one, because that one's higher.
Maybe. I'm trying to think of the slope. That's a steeper edge, though.
And
And they might have also built up that trail thing for the walkway.
Oh, well, I suppose it makes sense.
Yeah. And it says many of the buffalo were killed or severely injured by the fall or having other large bison fall on them.
What?
The injured were dispatched with arrows or other weapons. This guy's got a big pointy stick.
Big pointy stick.
Poke.
You heard it here, folks. That's what the historian is calling the weapon of choice. A big pointy stick.
Now you got to remember, though, also the Native Americans did not have steel tips. You know, most of their tips were bone, which, you know, of course would be carved either stone or rock, you know, depending on where the tribes were from.
Didn't we see a thingy on one of the museums that said which tribe used which style?
I think I remember one of the tribes had that.
I want to say, I swear I saw that somewhere.
Another sign.
Signage!
Community processing plant. Now, the enormous task of butchering began immediately after the kill. Adult men and women worked in teams to rapidly skin carcasses and began cutting them into pieces small enough to be carried out of the sinkhole, possibly by adolescents. Meats and hides were placed on a travois, poles and platforms harnessed to dogs, and dragged to the processing camp, where most of the meat was cut into thin strips and dried. Marrow bones were broken open with stone mauls to extract the fat and other nutrients they contained, kind of like a mace. Later, some of this meat was further processed into a type of sausage, most commonly known as pemmican. Bison skulls were often smashed open to remove the brains, were used in the laborious hide tanning process. So, I mentioned it before. Read back. They were really efficient when it came to how a bison was used, because they would, they had meat, they had clothing, they, had a food supply for both now and later down the road. Like they were mentioning up there, one buffalo, very little of it would ever go to waste. It's why you don't see a lot of, buffalo bones here and there, because they used it practically everything, or they busted up what they couldn't use.
That looks dangerous.
Oh yeah, a little trip, slip, and break your ankle.
I think that's why they painted it yellow.
Could be. But yeah.
Want to climb?
Imagine a buffalo can't see anything because of the dust, and is thinking they're running away from the enemy, which they probably are. Goes right up and over. From there down to here, either head first or lands on his side. Then the next one lands on top of him. It's just a constant cycle of congratulations. You're going to be supplying the Native Americans with meat and goods for the next 10-15 years in hides. Feed, probably for most of the winter. Like the little sunflowers.
Thought I saw another sign down here, but I guess not.
Oh, yeah, one more.
Oh, there it is.
No going or disturbing of any kind of preservation, and can't really read the back part of it. It says the Vore site was discovered during the construction of Interstate Highway 90. A crew of archaeologists from the University of Wyoming spent 2 summers here in 1970 and 71, determining the horizontal and vertical extent of the cultural materials, nearly 100 feet wide by more than 20 feet deep. Analysis of these excavations established the Vore site as one of the most spectacular large mammal kill sites known in the world.
Oh, wow.
The Vore site is certainly one of the more significant Plains Indian sites for critical late prehistoric period it represents. Additional excavation has occurred in the mid-1990s. Much has yet to be learned about the prehistoric Plains Indian history and culture, as well as many other scientific topics. With less than 10% of the Vore site excavated, the research potentials here are enormous and very exciting. That's kind of cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now
So that's probably what these guys use this shed for, is the further excavation works going down.
That'd be my guess.
But yeah. So this is the Vore Native American site, or the bison kill. But anything further Bobby wants to throw in here besides get away, Waspy?
No, run.
All right. Well, this has been our short trip, and we're on our way up to Sundance, where we get to hear some more history about the Sundance Kid. And we will talk to you guys later. This is Joe, the bearded historian, and that's Sue.
Bye.